Hello, everyone, and happy 2026. We need to talk about the heart. Last time, I was sharing what I see as big differences between two spiritual approaches. One is a much more of a mind-based approach, and one is more of a heart-based approach. And that got me thinking about the heart, which I think about a lot. And I wanted to talk about our understanding, or perhaps the inverted understandings that we've been given about the heart, as opposed to the truth about the heart. So we've been told our entire lives that the heart is a pump, right? That's what we were taught in school. The heart is a pump, and it pumps your blood all around your body like a piston. But it turns out that this model is completely false. It's yet another inversion that we've been offered, a misunderstanding about who and what we really are. The heart is something far more elegant and sacred and multidimensional than science has ever described. Well, there's a lot of people in the medical world, cutting edge people in the medical world, who are now acknowledging that the heart is not a pump. If you just look up that phrase, you'll start to find a lot of videos, a lot of information about the good work that people have done more recently about the heart. And of course, the amazing work of the Heart Math Institute for years and years now. But there's still conventional belief that the heart is a pump. And this is really limiting to us as humans. And talk about why, of course. But it was Rudolf Steiner who said that if we wanted to evolve as humans, we had to understand a few things. He named 3 things, and one of them was that the heart is not a pump, without elaborating on that. So some people got curious about that and started to study it. The heart as pump model comes from a mechanistic, reductionist view of the body. It's the same view that tells us that we're just meat suits or flesh machines made of random molecules, that the body is destined to wear down, that it malfunctions, and we have to keep it healthy, usually by external means. So in this view of the body, the heart is a ticking clock that is destined to wear out. And this is also the view that tells us that consciousness is a byproduct of neurons, which, I'm sorry, but that's laughable. That is laughable. I've never understood how anybody could think that. But anyway, this idea about the heart being a pump has been imposed. It's been imposed because if you forget what your heart really is, then you forget what you really are. So it makes total sense that this mechanistic view of the heart would be imposed on us. This worldview, because it is a worldview, right? It's not just about us and our heart. It's a view of the world, right? And it has been deliberately seeded to prepare for humanity to merge with the machine, right? If your heart doesn't really matter, if consciousness can be hacked and we're just hackable animals, then we need to be augmented by machines, don't we? Right? That's the view. And, they appeal to our, people's vanity and desire for more by saying that they can be upgraded, and that being merged with AI is a great idea, and right. So that view, it's been a long time coming, and it's been seeded by separating us from the divine wisdom that is inherent in our incarnational vessel. And at the center of that wisdom is the heart and its true function. So if we can get beyond this idea of the heart as a pump and break it and just, look at it fresh, then we realize that the heart is a vortexer, right? The heart moves after the blood moves. It doesn't propel the blood throughout our whole system, which is like 10,000 miles of blood vessels, literally. This little muscle that weighs a pound propelling the blood through 10,000 miles of tunnels. No, it doesn't make any sense. It's like so many things that, you just took for granted. We have so many unexamined assumptions about life because we just trusted what we were told by the authorities or the powers that be. No. The heart moves after the blood moves. And one of the great revelations of embryology has been that the blood begins to circulate before the heart is even fully formed. So how could that be? It's challenging, obviously, the idea that the heart is a mechanical pump that's driving the system. Instead, what that shows us is that the blood has its own intrinsic motility, which is amazing in and of itself. Where does it come from? Is it informed by some higher order fields or the toroidal geometry of life itself? I don't know. But it's an intriguing idea that gets you thinking of all kinds of other things. So the heart actually enters an already moving flow and modulates that flow. So this, to me, mirrors how consciousness enters into form. It does not originate from the body, but it informs it. So rather than pumping in a linear sense, in a mechanical way, the heart is actually functioning as a vortexer, a hydrodynamic vortex generator, right? It twists and spirals the blood into motion. It's not pumping the blood through your body. It is taking blood that's already moving and spinning it. That in and of itself. When I started thinking of my heart that way, I was like, oh, when I would go and just breathe and meditate on my heart and I would imagine it, wow, it's not a pump anymore in my mind, right? Now it is a vortexer. It is spinning the blood that's coming through it, spinning it and structuring it and making it more coherent. That totally changed my relationship with my with my heart as consciousness and the role that it plays. When I would just breathe and focus in on my heart, it struck me with a sense of awe, because vortexing is nature's way of energizing and organizing. Right? Think of the spiral of a galaxy, right? Think of a hurricane or a seashell or our DNA, right? Vortexing is the way that nature energizes and organizes matter, subtle or gross. And, I got really interested a few years ago in the work of this guy called Randy Hatton, who works with water. And he's got a website called Vibrant Vital Water. Just Google it. Don't Google it. Use another, what do we call it? The thing that you use to search the internet. Sorry, it's gone out of my brain. Use something, but find Vibrant Vital Water, Randy Hatton, because he uses the exact same principle of vortexing to spin water into life, to structure water, right? And he creates these beautiful water, water structuring systems that are so simple, so elegant, so beautiful, And that's exactly what it's doing, right? It's mimicking the vortexing principle to purify and structure the water. Well, likewise, the heart is entraining the blood's structure through these same vortex dynamics. Well, what is the blood made of? Water, right? Water is the component in everything, right? So it's informing the heart by its vortexing action, this water-based plasma, which is our blood within us, with coherence and magnetism and energy. So let's talk about our blood. Our blood is liquid light. Our structured blood, which is energized through the vortexing action of the heart, is so much more than, again, what we were told, a carrier of nutrients. That's so boring. It's like a tiny thing that it does. It carries so much more than nutrients. It carries information. When the blood is structured, when the plasma, we're going to talk about plasma, is structured, right? Because that's what the blood is, right? When they, and I have to segue to urine for a second and a half, right? But urine is your blood filtered, right? That's why they call it medically plasma ultrafiltrate, okay? So structured blood that is energized through the vortexing action of our heart is a medium of consciousness. It's a medium of consciousness. It is rich in plasma. It is magnetically charged. It is crystalline in structure. It holds memory, it holds information, it holds energy, and this remembering of the truth aligns with ancient esoteric understandings about the blood as sacred fluid, right? And that knowledge has been used for better and for worse, unfortunately, largely for worse in recent history. All right, but that's the truth about the blood as plasma, as liquid light. I see that this topic is of interest to people, and that makes me happy. I'm glad we're talking about this. So our heart has been suppressed. Our relationship to our heart has been deliberately suppressed. We've been told all kinds of things about the heart that isn't true, and there have been distortions and deformations of our understanding about the heart, including this propagation, spiritually speaking, of the heart as a heart chakra, right? Now, the heart chakra model is not wrong. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it can be limited, right? Often we think of chakras as energy centers, right? And vortexes, right? But in the reality, the heart is a portal. It is a dimensional gateway. It's not a rung on a ladder, right? It is the center. It is the center of a holistic system, right? So the chakra system often references this sevenfold rainbow architecture that's rooted in a particular metaphysical construct that may itself be inverted or partial, okay? The heart portal, your real center, your first eye, as George Kavasilis calls it, is a direct link to source. A direct portal to source, yes, a doorway, right? It is beyond any hierarchy, beyond any systems. It is spherical, it is radiant, it is infinite. And the vortex around the heart is the access point to the toroidal field. It is an interface with the 0 point field in us. It is a direct interface with the 0 point, with the field, the infinite field of all of all information, of all knowledge, of all wisdom, of love itself. Why do you think they don't want you to know what your heart really is? right? Why the suppression? Well, because the heart is the key to coherence. It is the seat of the will in harmony, the point of sovereign discernment, right? Not this discernment here, the knowing, the knowingness, the knower in you that knows. So if you control the mind and bypass the heart, you can manipulate behavior, right? All systems of domination, whether we're talking about the educational system, the medical system, the military, the religious systems, have prioritized intellect, duty, fear, shame, or law over the heart's knowing. And the heart's knowing has been, equated to, oogie boogie, airy fairy, hysterically feminine. It's been debased, right? So when the heart is suppressed, people obey authority, don't they? When the heart is suppressed, people obey authority. Remember that stand apart from each other thing that they implemented when all of that stuff was going on a while back? Some people theorized that they wanted to keep people's toroidal fields apart, right? Their heart fields separated from one another. I think that's an interesting possibility. So when the heart is suppressed, people obey authority. And when the heart is active, people follow truth. They know truth, and they are capable of discerning truth and seeing through falsehood, seeing through manipulation, right? Seeing through perceptual manipulation. Okay, so when I started learning about the nature of the heart, not as a pump, but as a vortexer, the idea of the chestahedron was introduced. This was the chestahedron is a geometric form with 7 faces that is derived from a tetrahedron, but it models the shape and the motion of the human heart. And interestingly, if you put a chestahedron inside a cube, it naturally rests at an angle of 36 degrees. Well, it turns out that our heart inside our chest rests naturally at a 36-degree angle. Interesting, isn't it? And of course, 36 is a sacred number. It's 1/10 of 360, the full circle. It's connected to pentagonal geometry, the phi ratio. It's the angle of natural balance, of coherence, of divine design. So this alone indicates that the heart's geometry is by design. It is not random. And, it is this harmonizing force between heaven and earth. And I don't mean heaven up here, earth down here. It's so hard to use words. You know what I mean? The heaven within you. The know yourself, right? The kingdom of heaven which is within us. I'm not talking about something that belongs to a God, right? I'm talking about that which we are. It is the portal. So let's go back to plasma for a mo. Plasma, have you noticed that a lot of people are talking about plasma now? Yeah, like plasma, people are talking about plasma all over the place. I remember maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, nobody talked about plasma except for, physicists and, right? In mainstream science, plasma is often defined as the 4th state of matter. It's like an ionized gas with free-flowing electrons in it. It's what stars are made of. When you see a lightning flash, that's an example of plasma. Okay. And I think it's important to have a grasp of it on that level. But in spiritual science, plasma is the subtle, luminous substrate between physical and the etheric. It's a radiant field of intelligent energy that animates matter. So when people refer to the plasma light body or plasma healing, they're referencing this like a biospiritual plasma that is connected to solar consciousness and source codes. So plasma is not just matter, it's life in motion. Intelligence interfacing with matter. Listen, I don't claim to have a full understanding of what plasma is. I'm learning to try to feel into what that is. So structured water and the blood, going back to all of that, you might have heard of easy water, exclusion zone water. This is the work of a guy called Dr. Gerald Pollack. And what it revealed was that water that's inside of living systems, as opposed to out there or, in our pipes or whatever, water inside of living systems doesn't behave like other water. It forms a gel-like crystalline layer that holds a charge, that stores information, that can generate energy, all right? And this is what we're hearing about water itself, right? Water as the physical manifestation, or the manifestation in form of consciousness. The fourth phase of water is the state that blood and lymph need to be in for optimal health. So the water in our body is that easy water. The fourth phase water. Within our blood, within our body, within our living system, right? It doesn't behave like water that's coming out of the tap. So if this fourth phase water is the state that blood and plasma and our fluids inside our body need to be in for optimal health, well, what are the things that can entrain that state? Well, vortexing is one of them. That's what the heart is doing, right? Sunlight, grounding, also intention. These are all things that structure water into this coherent phase. So, it's like everything that supports life is free and simple and natural. I just try to remember that when I start to get overwhelmed, or I feel like, things are getting too complicated. If things are getting too complicated, you're stuck in the mind, right? If things are getting too complicated and you're starting to get overwhelmed, you're in your mind. That's mind energy, right? So bring it back down to the heart, where everything is one, where everything is in coherence, right? So everything that supports life is free and simple and natural, such as sunlight, right? That carries photonic energy, and that photonic energy charges blood and structures water. Why do you think they want to block out the sun? Why do you think there's been a campaign against the sun? Like, the sun is bad, skin cancer, be afraid, right? Well, since they started bringing awareness to skin cancer and trying to make the sun the culprit, skin cancer is multiplied by over 600%. The incidences of skin cancer. Something's not right. All right, so sunlight is one of the natural things that entrains coherence, in your blood, in the water, in you. Earthing is another thing, right? That transfers electrons from the earth up into your body, and it grounds your electromagnetic field. If you are grounded, you're not going to be as affected by a lot of the negative frequencies or disempowering frequencies that are zooming through the air that we're all connected to with our phones and our computers, and right? So grounding is another thing that will entrain coherence. Breath. Another thing that's free, it's natural, it oxygenates, it entrains your parasympathetic nervous system, it restores heart coherence, right? Focused heart, focused breathing, for example. It's so simple, guys. I mean, like, and saying so, I'm reminding myself. Other things that entrain coherence, positive emotional states like gratitude, appreciation, wonder, awe, compassion, kindness, right? All of those are states that shift the electromagnetic pattern of the heart into a harmonized toroidal field, right? That amplify coherence, that, and if you just look at the research that the Heart Math Institute has done, it shows that uplifting emotions literally entrain the heart, that literally entrain the heart and the brain into synchrony, harmony. So that creates order, right? Yeah. Love and kindness. It's all free. It's all natural. It's all simple. We don't need anything out there. So we were never meant to be sick. True health is really just a byproduct of coherence. Whether we're talking about physical, mental, emotional health, spiritual health, it's all byproduct of coherence. And the further we get pulled away from natural entrainment, the more fragmented and the more dissonant we become. So the war on the heart, the deliberate suppression of the heart through toxicity, through trauma, through electromagnetic fog, smog, dissonance, through programming, through disinformation and misinformation about what we are, is really a war on coherence. If we can be separated from our heart, if we can be sived, cut off from the intelligence of the heart, if we can be cut off from the planet, from the sun, then we can be merged with technology for total control. You don't have to go that route. You don't have to. Nobody can force you. No matter what's coming, nobody can force you onto that path. Because we're natural humans. If you're sitting here and you're interested in this conversation, you're a natural human. It may not be your path to go off and be merged with technology. I'm not judging, just saying if you don't want to, then you don't have to. We can reclaim coherence through simplicity, through sovereignty, and through connecting with this radiant intelligence, which is the heart field. So, things that obviously decohere the heart, overthinking, getting stuck in your mind, energy, screens. Sorry, this is the technology they gave us to use, the only option right now. So we've got to be conscious about how we use it, right? EMF exposure, obviously, that's totally rampant. Artificial light. I mean, all these things I'm talking about, they're right around me right now. But we can mitigate the damage. We can, everything that we do to mitigate that kind of thing. If we do it not in a spirit of fear, but with a sense of humor and a sense of empowerment, taking back our power, there's no need to worry about this stuff, right? Disconnection from nature is another thing. Chronic fear, the state of chronic fear, which is entrained by frequencies and by so-called entertainment, synthetic stimulation, the scroll, getting lost in the scroll, like all of that. Yeah, red light therapy, that's another thing that's great. I just ordered a red light lamp. It's on its way. I'm so excited. I'll tell you guys about that later. These are all things that decohere the heart, but we have solutions. We have solutions. we have all the power. We have all the power because everything that we need is within us and easily available, right? And it's the intention that we have to live as natural humans, to come back to the heart. If we just set that intention over and over again, the heart has ways. It has wisdom. You get connected with people. You get access to things. You know, it's just your intention to follow the organic path of integration is powerful. If you declare your field, right? I'm an organic human, and I want to dwell on this planet, and I choose the organic path of integration as this convergence is getting closer and closer. That has power. So it's a path back to simplicity, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, it can't be. The real is always simple. It's always right here. And if you want to reclaim your connection to the source, then you have to start with the heart. This has been a big learning for me. Can't get there with your mind. Right, it's here. You don't need a method. You just come back to your breath, to your body, to the sunlight, to the earth. Come back into rhythm. Come back into trust, trusting that your body is always, it's never against you. It's never betraying you. It is maybe sometimes expressing symptoms as a way of letting you know that things are out of balance, but it knows how to heal itself if we get out of the way, right? All right, that's what I wanted to share with you guys today, because I think we need to talk about the importance of the heart and how it has been suppressed, and how simple and natural it is to come back into coherence. Anyone can do it. Anyone who wants to can do it. So as we're gathering up the threads of this remembrance, let's just know that we can release the mechanistic lie that told us that we were machines destined to wear out. Thanks, guys. Yeah. And return to the living truth that the heart is it is a sun, it is a vortex, it is a gateway. And by the way, the heart as sun, literally, it's the same energy as the sun that's in the sky. It is the same energy as the sun that is in the center of the earth, because contrary to, again, what we were told, what is in the center of the earth is not a solid, dense ball of iron, but a radiant plasmic sun, right? It's a mirror. Right? Your heart, the sun, which is your heart, the sun out there, the sun in the center of the earth, these suns are all in resonance with each other. The heart is not a pump. It is a center of coherence. It is the dwelling place of source in you, and it was never meant to be suppressed. You can bring it back into coherence for free. So let this knowing settle in you deeply. Trust it. Feel the pulse of your heart, not as a beat that's pumping your blood through your body, but as a spiral, a dance, a sacred field that is vortexing your blood, activating it, energizing it, magnetizing it, so that it can carry divine intelligence all throughout your body. That's what it's doing. We were designed for beauty, for resonance, for vitality. We're not here to break down and fall apart. We're here to remember the architecture of aliveness that is encoded in our blood, in our water, in our light. So this week I invite you to entrain, not through effort, but through grace. Ask yourself the question, is what I'm doing right now entraining greater coherence into my heart field or not? Simple question. And if not, it's easy to remedy. We simply take a break from whatever it is we were doing or thinking or feeling that was not entraining greater coherence, and step outside into the sun and feel it warming you. Not through a window, right? It's going to be outside. The window does not let all of it through, right? We need all of these different wavelengths that come from the real actual sun. You can stand barefoot on the earth and breathe from your heart, right? Or if you've got snow where you are, you can go hug a tree. If you can't put your bare feet on the ground, you can work with your breath and just breathe directly in and out of your heart space, right? Just feel that vortex. You can bring to mind someone or something that you love and feel that love in your chest. I like to think about cats. I think about cats. I start to giggle. I just feel good, right? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. So just notice what happens, because your whole field shifts. In just a few minutes, you have all the power, right? This is coherence. This is power. This is the real you. And no one and nothing has power over that. You do. And you don't need to do anything to deserve it. You just return to the heart of everything. That's all I have to share today. Thank you so much for your presence and your enthusiastic participation. I'm seeing your comments going by, and I don't have time to read everything, but I really appreciate everything that you're sharing. I can feel your energy, and it's really happy to have you here. Happy to be in your presence. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again next week.